Martin Scorsese is, I'm not sure if he's a practicing Catholic. It is definitely in his heritage. He's made films with Catholic overtones, but I honestly don't know. Tobit is, if you made the film of Tobit, most of the audience, the first weekend would be Catholic in the audience, Catholics in the audience. So he might be interested in this, but it's also a Jewish movie. All the characters are Jewish. It's actually from the Old Testament, and it's in Catholic Bibles. It's in Orthodox Christian Bibles, and it's in the Jewish historical lore. Jews, the attentive public, Jews who paid attention in school and have a deeper understanding of their heritage, know the story of Sarah. The Book of Tobit is about two characters. The lead female is Sarah, and she's married 7 times, and 7 times she's widowed. A demon comes and kills her new husband before the marriage is even consummated. They never make the honeymoon. They don't make it to the nearest bed. Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and some Jews are exposed to this when they're relatively young. In my experience, the nuns leave out the part about the consummation, the empty wedding bed, and they don't even mention that. But even this is, it's 8 or 10 years old, and little kids know what weddings are. It doesn't take them long to ask the question, well, what's a widow? And they totally understand that. And at a young age, they're told there's a lady in the Old Testament, and her husbands are taken from her by a demon, Asmodeus. And he's a particular vile, villainous demon. And when you're murdered by a demon, it's not pretty. So worldwide, we're talking about 1.5 billion people, Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and Jews, that know this story. They've seen it in print. It's in their Bibles and their holy books, their sacred texts, and they take it seriously. And they've known this story since they were little kids, and they've never seen it on the big screen. It's in print. They know the words. They know the letters. It's in their memory. And nobody's had the balls to make it into a feature film. And I don't think it's that controversial. I think filmmakers dream up this controversy. A Russian producer wrote me back, said, oh, this is way too controversial. Sure, we know Tobit, but Protestants won't go to see it. And I said, so what if a few Protestants protest in Russia? Protest. No. That turned him totally off. I said, well, I'm an American. A little protest means money, free advertising. It's out there. You can go see it if you want to, but at least you're on the radar. And with all these films being made today, any movie that makes it into the news is good. No, the Russians are just not going to do that. Hollywood is very sly and political science is very advanced. The demagoguery, the argumentation, the marketing, everything about film is so scientific. Selling films and seats in theaters, and technologically the streaming, we're very sophisticated. Hollywood can handle this. And besides, I don't think Protestants are going to protest. There's maybe a few, and that I don't even think it's newsworthy. There would be so few, and that's because the religious theological spectrum has elongated. In the 20s, when the silent film was made, after the 20s, and the Catholics and the Lutherans were at different ends of the spectrum. Now the Lutherans and the Catholics are next to one another, and they are neighbors because of extremism, theological extremism, and mostly I'm talking about Islam. If there's a street fight between, a gang fight, Muslims versus Christians, the Lutherans and the Catholics will fight back to back. But this is not a violent confrontation. Nobody's going to get violent. It's the last war between Catholics and Lutherans were, well, I have a Lutheran minister friend. He says the last Lutheran and Catholic war was World War I. I don't believe that. It's way back in the Middle Ages, late Middle Ages, 1500s, since they lined up like that. So there's not going to, nowadays, that's not even realistic to talk about Protestants versus Catholics. Okay, about the Bible. Yes, it's 8 pages in the Bible, and about 98 pages in my adaptation. I just took each verse from the Bible and made it into a scene. And so it's fairly realistic. I changed the location and a few of the details at the timeline. In the Book of Tobit is from the Bible, and it's about 3,000 years ago. And a lot of people, again, the Jewish attentive public who paid attention in school, know about the Babylonian captivity. Everybody knows about the Egyptian captivity, but a large group of Jews were taken to Mesopotamia between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers and held in slavery. So the original story takes place there. I don't think anybody's going to fork over $12 to see a film. People in robes, and they know the story's 3,000 years old. Special effects, the title Tobit. There'll be more interest if it is relatively contemporary. So I set it in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, in the 1930s. And I put it there because of 2 reasons. One, the Nazis are on their way. Tobit is going to be the father-in-law to Sarah. Sarah is in London, but Tobit has gone blind and he needs money out of a London bank, so he sends his son. Prays to God for a companion, someone to go and escort Toby across the Atlantic, across the English Channel to London to pick up the money. Well, nobody wants to do that by themselves because they might get robbed. So Raphael goes to protect Toby and the money. But Sarah also in London prays to be for a solution. So Raphael's also sent to dispatch Asmodeus, the murderous demon, the demon that's killing all these husbands. So they meet. You can imagine Toby meeting a woman, finding her attractive and charming, and he needs a wife. His mother and father expect grandkids, and there's a lot of pressure on a young Jewish man to have kids. And to be honest, I thought that was a stereotype, but I started doing the math and the research, and there are only 25 million Jews worldwide. It's a closed religion. They don't take a lot of converts. So a lot of kids. If Jews want to keep the Holy Land, to keep Israel, they need a population or they'll get rolled over. And so procreation is a big deal. It's not just a racial stereotype. I believe since biblical times, procreation has been a major part of the Jewish faith. And that's very clear in this movie. Toby has to find a wife. Now, the wife he finds is problematic because she's had 7 husbands and they've all died. Do you want to be the 8th? But that's why Raphael is right there beside Toby. Raphael is an angel, but it's not clear, especially at first. But Raphael says, no, don't worry about it. You like her, she likes you. Let's get to know her, and if things progress, I won't let anything happen to you. Marry her if you want. I'll take care of it. So we have to kind of have a character, a macho actor, somebody from the action genre. And I thought Matt Damon or Brad Pitt. And I don't know if they would even look at this. They wouldn't touch it. Scorsese could probably open a lot of doors. That was the question you asked me about Scorsese. And it's a Catholic movie with Jewish characters. Now that is, I think that's a reason to make the movie just there. An interfaith partnership. I can see that happening. Maybe use all Jewish actors and a Catholic director. Or he may just want to produce it. I don't know. That's a very good idea. I'm glad you realized that the film is predominantly Catholic. Catholics love this story. They're taught that from as little kids, and makes it very powerful. It's never been made into a feature film because it was taken out of the Bible. My Lutheran friend says it's because of magic. My Catholic priest friend says it's because of the bias. But I'm not sure it really matters. Protestants will line up and buy tickets because it's a positive story. Good wins in the end. Sarah is a good Jewish woman, pious. And all that matters really is that they believe in God. Different God. It's the same God. The Old Testament God and the Jewish God are the same. And as far as that goes, Islam believes in the Old Testament. They have a different interpretation, but I don't see why pious Muslims wouldn't appreciate Tobit, Jew or not. He gives excellent advice to his grandkids. Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, well, why don't you take this to Disney? Well, I did. And the Disney guy said, no, he said they. He works in Disney, but he said they will not touch anything religious. They think it's too controversial, and they don't want that. They're like Russians a lot. They're afraid of controversy. And then he may have a point. Disney's probably not the best place for it. Scorsese would be the best place for it. Likability. The answer to that is likability. We like Sarah from the Bible. We like Sandra Bullock. We like Reese Witherspoon. We like a woman that can get married 7 times, and 7 times she's disappointed, but she keeps fighting. and she's not going to give in to the devil. She gets married an 8th time, chiefly because Raphael's there, and he's going to take care of it. Raphael is the angel who is associated with guidance. He guides Toby to a wife and to collect the money. Raphael is well known for respect for nature, and there's certain things that happen on the bus that require Raphael and his understanding of nature. And then he is the healer of relationships, Raphael. And that fits the story perfectly, because you can imagine 7 weddings and 7 murders. There's a lot. Everybody's on edge, and their relationships are on the brink, or you might use the word tatters. The relationships are in tatters. But who heals all this? And an 8th wedding comes along. It's only because of Raphael enables it. I don't want to ruin the story for you. I'm sure you're an educated soul. I know Scorsese is. He's heard this story since he was a little kid. I was talking about likability. I'm sorry. Scorsese knows the characters have to be likable. Tobit's likable. You're going to have to get a popular... The 2 characters weigh so much because of the biblical and because of just their character arc. You can't just get anybody off the bus to play either role. Scorsese would know that. McMurtry told me the key to success is likability. We were talking about Lonesome Dove. He's 100% right. If you don't like those main protagonists, you can throw it away. You can forget. The most likable characters in the book are Sarah and Tobit. Noah is a little cryptic. Moses is flawed. I mean, that's the reason why God won't let him cross over into the promised land. And Jacob and the whole slew. But to be honest, look at Tobit and his character. We see deeper inside Tobit than any other character in the Bible. I mean, he bears his soul up because he prays all the time. He's the most charitable character. He risks more than any other Bible character. That's why I put him in the 30s, and the Nazis are on their way. Because he's likable. And Sarah's likable too. Yeah, ask any others. Scorsese would be a top 10, top 5 for his participation, and it's not just his name. He always has a deep understanding of the characters and of the story. He's not a technical director. I think he's an actress director. Actually, I don't know him. I've never been around him, and I've seen all his stuff, and that's the way I see it. Yeah, next question.